Okay. I love you, baby.
Okay. Done. Didn't want to get slowly impaled by my own
no.
earrings.
No, no, no.
Come here, my sweet bear. Oh, oh. Mimi. So beautiful. So sweet.
Okay. Hopefully tonight goes super smooth.
How'd your test go?
It went good.
That's good.
No issues reported.
I don't want your pressure paws on me. Lay down, bear. Lay down. Thank you. Oh, I just go. Oh, yeah, gotta turn around. Always.
I gotta be facing the right way.
Yeah, he lays down and then he immediately turns around every single time. It's like his thing that he does.
Aw.
I
love him.
He's a good party bear. I love him too. I haven't heard enough Maya lately, and it bothers me.
Oh, she loves to yell. I'll just talk to you on my phone, and then she'll come and scream for you.
Oh, nice.
I'm like super prepared because I did the test stream earlier. I had everything up. I was like, all right, is there something that is slowing my computer down? So I had like everything up.
Oh, Mary, he just ate his food and he smells like sardines.
Lovely.
Terrific. Okay.
All right. Well, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Let's get started then. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Ship, the podcast where we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer. I'm Genesis, the girl who in 3 weeks celebrates 20 years in the hotel industry. So I feel a special connection with one of our characters tonight.
Remember how I said that I was ready? I just realized I didn't press record on my own Audacity. So I'm doing that now. Oh my God. I am. Oh, it is recording there. Sorry. It seemed really quiet and I didn't know why. Anyway, I'm Bravada, the girl who is celebrating 20 years of being a weirdo. Actually, it's more like 32, almost 33 years, but you know.
Okay. If you're new here, welcome to the beautiful chaos. You should know that our podcast centers on character and romance analysis and doesn't shy away from exploring the fun of fucking.
Or from the deep emotional connections built between two or more characters using specific in-game dialogue, typically, although not with these episodes for this game. But in general, if you want to stay spoiler-free, then this is definitely not the podcast for you.
So here's your fucking spoiler alert.
Thanks for the spoiler alert, N7. And just like with all of our previous episodes, we'll assume that you have some background knowledge of the game and character in question. but we will be providing context for those of you who may be unfamiliar. That's really weird. I can play around with it some more and see what I
Okay.
can do about
Like,
that.
not that we really need it for this one, but I didn't hear that.
Okay.
Just if you were thinking your settings were good
Can
for
you
in
still
general.
can you still hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. Oops.
So here's your fucking spoiler alert.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
It's the last and only time I needed to hear anything.
Right.
Okay. So today's episode, we are still in Inaba, attending high school, and we will be for one more week after this because we're almost through all of the girlfriends. We're graduating soon. Isn't that fun? Graduating high school. Wow. How long has it been? A long time. Anyway, but tonight we have to discuss two characters who are very different from each other, but both are common tropes, it seems like, in Japanese media. To me, anyway. There's just something about the shy, beautiful girl feeling the pressure to conform, right? I feel like that's kind of true for any culture, really. That's like a really common trope. But then what's with Japan and teenage high schooler detectives? Like that seems to happen a lot. Anyway, we're covering it all between Yukiko Amagi and Naoto Shirogane from Persona 4. We will be starting with Yukiko.
Yukiko Amagi is a reserved and soft-spoken girl. Visually, the epitome of the beauty standard. She is the daughter of the owners of the Inaba Inn, a town attraction and apparently a high-class place. She has been raised as the next manager and owner of the inn, learning proper and traditional Japanese customs for customer service. She is also a star student at school, acting as a tutor and earning top grades in her class. While she is a popular kid at school, given her beauty, intelligence, and ladylike behavior, she has very few actual friends. Her closest friend since early childhood is Chie, and Chie is about as opposite as you can get. They are each other's foils. If you haven't listened to our episode on Chie, we have talked a little bit about Chie and Yukiko's complicated friendship in that episode.
Yukiko's quiet and reserved nature is something that is desirable in a young, beautiful girl, apparently, because she is constantly praised for it. However, what we perceive as reservation in her is truly just detachment. She is withdrawn because of the immense pressure she feels from everyone's extremely high expectations of her. Same girl, same. She is supposed to be the desire of all the boys. Definitely not same girl, same. The next in manager after her parents retire, the top student at school, and somehow also have room for growing up and having a life. As a result, her personal narrative is that she is a bird in a cage, trapped and seeking freedom. Like her animal motif is birds. There's always like birds happening with her. But Yukiko also has low self esteem and believes that her ticket out of this gilded cage is a Prince Charming, nothing like waiting to be rescued. Am I right? Some guy comes and rescues her, takes her far away so she doesn't have to become the next inn manager. She thinks she would be okay with whatever he wanted because she just wants to be free. She doesn't think that she has the power to make that happen herself, though.
Yukiko also believes that if she were to open up and express her true feelings, people would view her as ungrateful and selfish. She doesn't even tell Chie, her best friend. And instead, for the first half of the game, Chio and Yukiko have this secret rivalry masquerading as a good friendship. Typical, yet toxic teenage behavior. While they have genuine love for each other, they also have genuine resentments towards each other due to societal pressure. Chie just wants to be acceptable and attractive the way she thinks Yukiko is. And Yukiko yearns for the chance to express her feelings and individuality the way Chie so freely seems to do. Yet, both are chained to their perceived notions about how others perceive them, trapped in an endless, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Isn't that fun? It's so
Hmm.
fun. When we first meet Yukiko, her goal in life is to leave Inaba and not inherit her family's historic inn. Like most companions in this game, and especially the investigation team members, Yukiko has a shadow self, like a shadow version of herself in the Midnight Channel that she needs to reckon with. Her dungeon takes place inside a castle, and there are floral motifs everywhere. Yukiko is wearing a kimono with a sakura pattern, but the shadow Yukiko is wearing an intricate ball gown with roses on it. The boss fight is like, once again with the birds, a giant red bird in a literal gilded cage. But the cage door is open. She's not actually trapped. She just thinks she is. Unlike some of the other companions, she isn't more open with you after facing off against her shadow self either. She isn't comfortable with everyone having witnessed her deepest fears. And yeah, like I would be too. That sucks. It's a lot of airing of dirty laundry to people you don't know that well, besides Chie.
Agreed. Like, the whole premise of this is let's go visit our trauma together.
Yeah,
No?
like let's literally help me fight my deepest insecurities. Yay.
Oh. Now, while Chie and Yukiko's friendship heals and continues in a healthier fashion after fighting the shadow version of Yukiko, her social link doesn't really start until further in the game. She needs more positive interactions with you to feel safe enough to drop her ladylike facade and start feeling some real emotions. She's never learned how to drop the mask. She also starts to become more comfortable in her family's inn, seeing it less as a cage and more as a nest. A safe space. A safe place where she can learn to fly on her own, including flying away. She starts saying she will move away, refuse to inherit the inn, and become an interior designer. She decides that she needs to learn how to cook in order to live on her own, and you can assist her practice by tasting her dishes when she practices cooking. This is adorable. Very cute. She will also start talking about what kinds of things she needs to buy for when she moves out on her own. But she lists things that are basically just school supplies. This is probably done to highlight her naivete, her innocence, because wanting certain kinds of pens for an apartment is probably not the highest priority you should have when moving out on your own.
My mom always said you have to buy a chair first. I don't know. Can't remember what I got first.
I think mine was make sure you have the bed you want.
Yeah, I would take a bed over a chair. My mom's like, you can get a good recliner and sleep in it. I'm like, or I could sit on a bed. Like, I think I got a bed first. Anyway, for Yukiko, her whole social link is about her unshackling herself from her self imposed chains that, while she felt were necessary, they were only hurting her. Her mom isn't domineering or cruel with her expectations, but Yukiko, she'll often talk about how she's afraid of disappointing her, which makes her afraid to speak up at all. I definitely feel this part. Yeah. It's hard to speak up. Her tarot card is the High Priestess, which are often the quiet girls in Persona games. When the High Priestess card is upright, it represents intuition and knowledge. When it's reversed, it represents silence and inward reflection. Just in case it wasn't clear from past tarot card discussions, the upright position of a card is generally taken to be positive, whilst the reverse is generally taken to be negative, but both are necessary and present in our lives. Silence on its own is not bad, but too much silence leads to feeling trapped, unheard, and forgotten. Self reflection is obviously necessary, but too much can lead to spiraling thoughts and no forward momentum. This is all in Yukiko's social link and also summed up really well with the scene where she made an overly complicated omelet with a ton of ingredients that just ended up having no flavor at all. It's kind of impressive, actually.
Hmm. Yeah. Sometimes if you don't balance things and make one thing the shining star, everything seems to be muddled. Now, towards the end of her social link, she sees that her friends and family support her. She doesn't have to do everything on her own like she thought. And this greatly relieves some stress. The player gets to know more about her, like her sometimes weird sense of humor, her love of horror movies, and that she isn't scared of bugs at all, unlike Chie. This contrasts with her elegant and demure appearance. But honestly, we all contain multitudes. Don't judge a quiet Japanese schoolgirl by her honorific speech. She also sometimes has seemingly inappropriate reactions to things, like when she slapped Yasuke when he suggested that they get together for a study session. Is she a bitch? Or is she a child that has probably been told her whole life by all the people around her how beautiful she is and has probably had an inappropriate comment and suggestions made to her by customers that her family's in? It's not a stretch to imagine that that is why she might mistake a study offer with something else.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. I don't know. Um, it's definitely not a stretch to imagine that. She will actually say at one point that lecherous advances will earn you a slap. I mean, honestly, fair. At least in anime, it's fair. I just think of Inuyasha when Moroku would grab anyone's butt and they just slap him. It just became a running joke. I guess slapping's not funny, but also don't grab people. So anyway, her friends are actually a little afraid of Yukiko when she gets mad because I'm telling you, it's the quiet ones. It's always the quiet ones. So my one beef with her character is how dramatic she is a little bit. I mean, I guess it tracks with like teenage girls, but I don't know. In the beginning, she's like really stressed at having to do everything alone and all the pressure of being the perfect daughter and the heir to the inn. But later, when she's like, oh, I have friends and I can share in the burden or I can share, she feels supported. She thinks her desire to leave the town is a burden on them. Like she would betray them, is the word she used, by leaving the town. Which I'm like, why? If you're moving away, like, why? True friends love you regardless and would never view you doing what you need to do as a betrayal. I guess like that's pretty complicated for a teenager though. I don't know.
Yeah. If you leave me in high school, that is like the ultimate betrayal. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
If you move away, you might as well just die.
Exactly. Oh. Now, speaking of love, let's briefly talk about the romance. Like all Persona 4 romances, it's super short and not available until the end of the social link. Some people don't like Yukiko because she feels wishy-washy or weak-willed, because she spends a lot of time in the game saying that she just wants to leave, just for her to say that she wants to stay by the end of her social link. Now, the social link's progression, aka her character arc in the game, was never about what decision she would end up making. It's about her realizing her ability to choose. A lot of her desires up until now have been about a Prince Charming, taking her away from everything, saving her. She didn't think she could do it herself. She thought someone had to do it. In her dungeon, the Prince Charming is a robot, having no specific features because it's not really about who the Prince Charming is, just that they can take her far, far away from Inaba.
This makes me think of Labyrinth. I wish someone would take me far away from here. And then she got all mad because Gareth did just that. And I'm like, I would stay. Anyway, I know I have a problem though. So, okay, back to Yukiko's romance. She can choose you, Pikachu. There is like this one scene that I actually really liked. It really felt like the there's only one bed at the inn trope, but in an age appropriate for high schoolers way because they're teenagers, remember? Still, if I had been a teenager playing this game, I would have swooned over that scene. They get like temporarily stuck in a blizzard, and Yukiko, they're like in this shack, and Yukiko shyly but anxiously wonders if they need to snuggle to stay warm. And then the rest of the team finds them, and they make some like overly suggestive comments about finding them there, even though they were not in any state of undress or anything. They were just standing there. That was like the spiciest thing I saw in my research for Yukiko's romance. Ultimately, it's a cute teenage fling. I think it's a good relationship for many many players of Persona 4. I don't know why. I mean, like I said, I didn't play it, but I saw a lot of people saying how boring she is, and I guess, but I don't know. I thought it was cute. No one, you guys don't all know like the first chair flautist, hot girl with bangs, like who feels the pressure from her family. Like you guys didn't know a girl like that in high school. I feel like she felt really real, you know?
Right? No, this does feel very real. Very Lisa Simpson. That's the vibes I'm getting from this. Very Lisa Simpson. I do like it. I think she definitely falls into the cute girl trope where it's like, okay, she's the one that everybody would want to romance because she's the prettiest. You know? And I do like the fact that she grows that spine. That's what I love about people is that they know themselves. So the fact that each of these characters by the end of the game, if you've followed their social link and done all the things, kind of really gets that good self-reflection in and has a better core belief on who they are. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know if she would be one of my romance options, so I haven't fully decided yet.
I already know who I'd romance. It wouldn't be Yukiko, but she's cute.
Yeah, see, for me, it's so weird because I'm like, me, I think I would go with Marie, but I also know that if I was in the mindset of playing this game, my 16-year-old avatar wouldn't date this woman who clearly is in her mid 20s.
Like an actual goddess.
Yeah.
I could see why you'd want to date an actual goddess. It feels a little iffy when you're a child though.
Yeah. So, I don't know. This game puts me in a weird headspace. And before I spiral too far along that route, let's head to a mid break. Mid break dance. Our Persona 4 prom dance is still going on. Yay. We'll box waltz around the room, making it think that we actually know how to dance like grown ups. Oh. All right, time for some fun facts. Yukiko is voiced by Amanda Wynn Lee, who is a prolific voice actor, seemingly mainly in the anime and video game worlds. She was Heather Mason in Silent Hill, Ichiko Ichiko in Persona 5, Miramu in the Dot Hack series, amongst many, many other roles.
Yeah, the IMDb list was long. The next character we're going to talk about, Naoto, is voiced by Anna Graves. We're obviously talking about the English versions. I don't know if you guys played the game in Japanese. Obviously, that would be a different person. We're talking about the dubbed version. So Naoto is voiced by Anna Graves, who is also a prolific voice actor with lots of anime and video game roles credited to her on IMDb. She was Jazz Durand in Starfield, Caroline Becker in Wolfenstein, and Satine in Star Wars The Clone Wars show, which I did not watch, but I really should because everyone says it's good.
Yeah. While Yukiko is not in Persona 5, she is mentioned on the news on December 14th. The host says that the Amagi Inn, delicious food, and relaxing hot springs, and comments that Yukiko is a beautiful young proprietress, and it's worth the visit just to see her. I'm gonna need some clarification on how much of a time gap there is between 4 and 5 in order for me to accept that.
Thank you. I know. I was like, is this cute or is this just a continuation of her getting unwanted male attention as a child? I have a lot of feelings about that as a child who also had a lot of that growing up because I unfortunately developed early and was cute. So it sucked. Don't look at me, men. Do not gaze upon my face. Okay, anyway, so also Yukiko, protect her. She's a child. The next fact, last fact, before we get into the Spotify bits and the Patreon bits. This fact is also about Naoto. So Naoto is androgynous at the very least. People on the internet like to say perhaps Naoto is like aromantic or asexual or non-binary, maybe even trans. There's a lot of discourse on that. We will talk about that in the next section. So Naoto's name is traditionally a boy's name. Girls' names in Japanese, commonly end in ko, like Yukiko. While there is some dialogue in the game to suggest that Naoto changed her name, it is also stated that Naoto is her birth name. Apparently, her parents didn't want to name their kid a girl name in case they also became a detective, so they wouldn't face any gender bias. I want to know how prevalent gender bias is in the detective world in Japan because Naoto is generation number 5 of this detective family, and that seems really serious to literally name your kid. To me, it makes sense that they would assume she would become a detective because there's restaurants been running for 13 generations in Japan and stuff. But to go that far as change the name just so maybe they would have their kid would have a better time being a detective. Is it really horrible for women as a detective? I don't know.
I do not have an answer on that one, but I do have an answer on the timeline. Persona 4 took place in 2012. Although Persona 5 shies away from using a year, the calendar corresponds with 2016 because the game actually uses Wednesday, December 14th or whatever it is. You can kind of tell that since it's in the future, this is the next calendar that would match up to that. So it'd be 2016. So about 4 to 5 years in between, making Yukiko, if she was 16 at the time of
20.
Persona 4, she'd be 20. And, well, yeah, okay. Calling a 20-year-old woman beautiful is not as bad.
No. That must get old for her, though.
Right?
She's like, what about my goddamn hot springs? Come here for the food,
The fact that I'm running a fucking hotel at 20 years old.
Yeah, for real. Nope. But her bangs, but her face, that's better.
Yeah, it's all about my face, not the brain behind it. Okay. Spotify. We have had a major jump in the ratings, and I couldn't be fucking happier. We're at 192. Y'all are out there showing us the love. And sorry, there is a literal plane flying like 5 feet above my house right now. I swear to God, it's so loud.
5 feet? I can't hear it at all.
My mic can. My Audacity can. 192. That is amazing. And we are so close to our goal of 200. I don't know what we're going to do to celebrate 200, but V and I will do something special for 200 ratings on Spotify. And of course, we give our special shout outs every week to our lovely, lovely patrons Toasty and Apollo, Becky and Daddy Bat Night, Stone Miss Theos and Muffiny Cake, Nwyn, Evie from HR, Lavelini, and Magister Davida. Big hearts, major loves, all the thank yous.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Hopefully, for those of you listening, it's easier to find us now that Jen requested that they actually label us correctly on Patreon and we are no longer labeled adult content creators. Yeah. So hopefully you guys can find us easier if you were wanting to join the Patreon.
Yes.
So, yeah. Jen, are you ready to talk about the kid detective of Inaba, the detective prince, Naoto?
Naoto. Okay. Naoto is introduced as a highly intelligent and serious detective who joins the investigation team to help solve the mysterious murders in Inaba. Someone, please explain how a 16-year-old is a detective with the police force? Okay. But anyways, there's much more to Naoto than just being a child prodigy detective. Although she is a great detective. Her analytical skills and keen insight often lead to breakthroughs in the case. One of the defining aspects of her character is her struggle with gender identity. Naoto presents as male for most of the game, largely due to the societal pressures and expectations within the male-dominated field of detective work. And we will get more into that in just a minute.
Yeah. I guess I should say that in the English version of the game, Naoto will use he and she pronouns. So I chose to use she just to be consistent, but I honestly don't know if Naoto has a preference because I didn't play the game, but I did my best. So, as you helps Naoto navigate her insecurities and the pressures of her role, we will see her gradually open up and become more comfortable with her identity. I think it's a nuanced and heartfelt progression. It's not easy, though, to start thawing that ice around her. She comes off extremely haughty in the beginning, like showing open disdain for the investigation team, quote unquote, and some rigid pragmatism towards solving the case. She's basically like, you guys just need to stop with your cute little game and let the professionals do their work. So if you spend any time with her, you'll learn that she carries a lot of insecurity about being viewed as just a child, quote unquote, instead of a super professional and experienced detective, as she thinks she is, as she kind of is, because she's like the fifth generation of detective in her family. And like that's cool, but I kind of in my research was like, girl, why are you so upset with like I understand. I was a kid once too. I'm like, oh, I'm so serious and smart though. Take me seriously. But it's like you're also a kid. Like you're literally a child. So of course there's going to be grown ass adults who look at you like a child because you are one. It's weird though because she's like with the police force and like her weapon is a standard issue pistol. So I'm like, I don't
What the fuck?
that's my thing is like you're complaining about being treated like a child, but like you're literally you have a job. You enrolled in the school to investigate the murder. Like with authority from the police, and you have a gun. So I think you're actually not being treated like a child enough. But that's just me as a mom.
Hmm. I don't know how to feel about this one.
Because when I was first doing the research, I was like, it just describes her like as a police detective who enrolls at the school to be undercover to help solve the murder, which I'm like, part of me is unclear. Was there always a lot of evidence pointing to the high school specifically for the murder, first of all, of the news anchor? And then secondly, I was like, an adult is pretending to be a kid, but then no, she's actually a kid. So then I was like, how does she what are the child labor laws in Japan? Like, I'm confused. I can only suspend so much disbelief.
The game was made in 2008. We have to suspend a lot of disbelief. 2008 was a weird, weird year. Not as weird as 2020, but still pretty high up there. Okay. All right. Moving on. Her dungeon is called the Secret Hideout in English, and it is modeled like an underground bunker. You don't see Naoto until the very end of the dungeon, and as you make your way farther and farther down, you hear more defensive messages from an intercom like intruder alert, warning, warning. It's very impersonal and cold. The walls are cement and the floors are metal grates, like an industrial complex. Naoto has hidden herself as far down as possible, feeling like she only wanted is professional and distance. I don't like the way that came out. Naoto has hidden herself as far down as possible, feeling that she's only wanted if she is professional and distant.
Yeah. Naoto faces intense scrutiny and prejudice. Wow, I can't talk today. I don't even have wine. I just have water and Sprite. Okay, let me try again. Naoto faces intense scrutiny and prejudice as a young, quote unquote, child detective. And presenting as male apparently helps to mitigate some of that scrutiny and prejudice. The internal conflict Naoto feels about her gender presentation is a significant part of her character arc or social link. The entire investigation team and all the other students up until the dungeon of hers, they believe that she's a boy, like an actual boy. It isn't until her dungeon that the party realizes Naoto was born a girl, and actually her shadow self says some like pretty mean shit to her. You'll have to wait a while for this too, because this is the last dungeon for the party members that you can complete. So I'm not entirely sure percentage wise what portion of the game this is, but it's quite a while that you're just like, oh, it's a boy. You know. She also pitches her voice lower, unless she's afraid. So yeah, she wears platform shoes. She binds her chest. She like goes really hard.
Oh, man. Chest binding. I did that once for a cosplay and then grew so much massive respect for trans men who do that on the regular. And I'm like, oh, never again.
Painful.
It fucking hurt. Anyways, sorry, the chest binding thing made me. I instantly remembered that pain in my body, and I was like, "Oh no, no." Hi. Now, during the confrontation with Naoto's, I keep wanting to say Naruto because it looks like the name Naruto.
Naruto. Yeah, I know.
Naruto.
Naoto. It's kind of a hard name for Western folks to say. You know, like our mouths, our language doesn't have two vowels that you pronounce separately like that in a lot of words or any words that I can think of off the top of my head. So,
right?
A little bit different. Sorry if we're butchering these guys. I don't speak Japanese. I do speak Korean, but Naoto's not a Korean name.
No. I mean, because my brain also might think that it's supposed to be pronounced like Naoto. Is this Naoto shadow in the spirit? Well, I can't even.
Oh, little Naoto over there. Yeah.
Okay. Recenter, refocus. I can get through the name Naoto. During the confrontation with Naoto's shadow self in the Midnight Channel, it illustrates her deep insecurities and fears over being accepted as a competent detective, despite her sex. The shadow version is childlike, wearing a too big lab coat, and makes wild gestures and cries a lot. This is the confrontation that leads to the revelation that Naoto is a girl for the investigation team. But for Naoto, she realizes that her true desire is not to be an adult or to be male, but to simply be respected and accepted for who she is, as she is. Now, this game first came out in 2008, and a lot of people since then have viewed this as a potentially an example of poor handling of a trans character, or even anti-trans altogether.
Yeah. So there are a lot of overlaps with Naoto's identity expression and a trans person's experience with identity expression. But with Naoto, it's also kind of the direct inverse of the trans experience, too. Rather than expressing an identity that aligns with who she is on the inside, Naoto is actively hiding her true identity with passing as a male character. She's using traditionally male clothing and mannerisms to blend in and be more socially accepted for the role she wishes to fulfill, not to match how she feels inside, not to be who she really is. It more closely relates, in my opinion, to the character of Mizu from Blue Eye Samurai, which, if you guys haven't seen Blue Eye Samurai, like, just stop listening to this and go to Netflix and watch Blue Eye Samurai. Develop a huge crush on Mizu. Anyway, so you should watch it. So rather than outwardly expressing identity to match internal identity, her appearance is a tool used to further her progress towards her goal. In Mizu's case, it's killing all the white men in Japan. Slay, girl, slay. In Naoto's case, it's being viewed less like a child and more like a competent detective. To each their own. Regardless, I think it's extremely limiting to view a female character with a masculine appearance as always trans or non-binary. There are plenty of gender non-conforming women, NBs, trans folks, etc. I think we should know by now that you don't judge a book by its cover and let them tell you who they are.
Agreed. And yeah, just because a woman wears masculine clothing a majority of the time doesn't make it so that way she's less of a woman. Flat, period, done, end of sentence. All right. Naoto's acceptance of her true self and decision to live authentically, regardless of societal expectations, is a huge turning point. It's a journey of self-acceptance and finding strength in vulnerability, which is kind of the main theme of all of these characters' social links. Naoto's tarot card is the Wheel of Fortune, not the Pat Sajak game. It symbolizes change, cycles, and fate when the card is upright. When it's reversed, it represents a failed sense of control, bad luck, and helplessness. This is incredibly fitting, as Naoto's journey is all about transformation and embracing change. The Wheel of Fortune also represents the idea of destiny and how one's actions influence their future, reflecting Naoto's struggle to shape her own path.
So, what we've all been waiting for, the romance. Naoto's been mainly uninterested in romance throughout the game. Like, she's really popular, and other girls will have come up to her, giving her a little note and being like, "Teehee senpai." But then she'll just be like, "I don't have time for dilly-dallying with callow love affairs." Love her. She is a girl on a mission. She does find you attractive because all the potential girlfriends do. Player sexual, am I right? But you have to make sure you choose the right dialogue options during specifically the rank 8 scene for Naoto in order to not be locked out of the romance. So I think it's something that is very easily messed up and skipped on accident. So make sure if you're wanting to romance her, look up exactly what you should say for the rank 8 scene. The romance itself is tender and supportive, emphasizing acceptance and mutual respect. I think Yu's support helps Naoto embrace her true self, making the relationship feel meaningful. This is especially evident in the scenes where Naoto struggles with her insecurities about being seen as feminine or attractive. At one point, Naoto will wonder if Yu might prefer someone traditionally more feminine. You can assure her that she is worthy as she is and doesn't need to change to suit her assumption about others' preferences. It's a lot of assumptions about what other people think or want from you in this game, and learning that that doesn't matter.
I also wholeheartedly and support Yu's choice here. Like, that's really, really good. I like that a lot. Naoto's growth throughout the game, both personally and professionally, is really impressive. Honestly, all these high school students finding themselves is pretty cool. Naoto's story in particular might resonate with many players because it deals with real and relatable issues. Her journey is one of self-discovery, acceptance, and the courage to be true to oneself. The themes of identity, acceptance, and breaking free of societal expectations are handled with care and depth. She's not just the detective prince. She's a person with complex emotions, and that really helps her to get a feel like a real person versus just a few tropes in a trench coat.
I think many people can identify with finding how to express their identity and even just finding your personal style. Like, there was a time where I was like, I think I'm cottagecore, and then I really wasn't. So, even just simply what you want to put on your body is so hard to figure out sometimes. Years of disguising herself as male has led her to struggle with knowing how to express her femininity. But by the end of the game, she's shown to no longer be binding her chest and is growing out her hair. She's just trying out a new look. Poignant moment in Naoto's romance arc is the Christmas event. In this scene, Naoto will hesitantly dress up in a more traditionally feminine outfit, seeking your approval. Use positive reaction and heartfelt compliments will help Naoto feel more comfortable and appreciated, reinforcing that theme of acceptance, which is just chef's kiss. I think it's particularly touching because it shows Naoto's willingness to step out of her comfort zone and embrace different aspects of herself, knowing that she's supported and loved. Like that maybe she doesn't like it, maybe she does, but no matter what, her friends and her boyfriend love her. The kind of relationship moment we like to see.
Yes, trying out new things, especially changing something about your physical appearance, you need the instant support and love from your friends and family of like, damn, you look amazing. Especially like when you dye your hair purple or some crazy weird shit and you're like, are other people gonna like this as much as I do? Yeah. So, unbinding your chest and dressing more feminine, considering you've spent the last probably like 30 hours of the game presenting masculine, and now you're testing out if you like to wear skirts. Yeah, you need that embrace of love and feeling of support. Love that.
Yeah, like I haven't played the game, but I view this transformation of hers at the end not like it's some experimenting, obviously, because she doesn't really have a feminine style, but it's not because she's preferred a male style. It's she felt necessary, like it was necessary to wear male clothing. So she just simply did not have her own style and now is trying to find one. And
Mhm.
so I think it's really cute.
And will you still respect me if I'm in a skirt?
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like from birth it's been ingrained in her that like being a girl will make you just viewed less by everyone
Mhm.
else. Not that her parents viewed her less, but that they were preparing her to be viewed less in their family role as detectives,
Yeah.
which sounds a little silly to me, honestly. But like, I mean, as a mom, as a woman myself, like I understand that fear and trying to prepare your kid, and you know, there is a reality for girls, hopefully less and less as time goes on. But so I see why they might have tried to do that,
Yeah.
but it made it really hard. Like I don't think the answer like I don't know. I don't think the answer is like bind your chest and pretend to be a boy forever for the rest of your life to be a detective, you know?
Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
rather than trans or non-binary, I kind of viewed Naoto maybe almost as aromantic or asexual because she seemed so uninterested in a romance. So like while I like her a lot as a character, I don't know. Like the romance seems really cute, but like she turned down so many people throughout the game that I was like, maybe she's just busy. She doesn't need that. I don't know.
Either that or that could have been a fear blocker of being like, oh, if somebody gets close to me, they're going to learn my secret that I'm not a man.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually some interesting like dialogue. Oh, what's his name? I think his name is Kanji or Kenji or something. He's the one that's really punky and he wears like a skull shirt and he looks like a middle-aged man but is a high schooler apparently. And like there's moments where like he'll kind of blush and something that Naoto said will like and he'll be like, "Wait, I'm not gay." Like you can really see like that in his face or like in some of the things he says, which also didn't help with like I could definitely start comparing her more to Mizu at that point because there's a scene in Blue Eye Samurai where she's like wrestling with this dude and he like pops a boner because he just is very attracted to her, but he thinks she's a man. So then he's like, "Am I gay?" You know?
Oh my God.
It's just like, why is this a thing that keeps happening?
Yeah. I don't. Okay. I don't want to tangent on the, oh my God, I might be attracted to a man. Does that make me gay? Because no, I can't. I do not want to travel down a path of heteroflexibility. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Not when one of the characters is a child. A very
Right?
competent detective, but still a 16-year-old.
Child. Child. Also, children should not be breastbinding. It can cause major problems down the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Moving away from that. I don't think I have anything else to add.
I kind of want to know if you are still here, listener, and you've played Persona 4, like message us on Discord or something. Like if we got something, because like we haven't played, and I wonder what it sounds like. Our outsider observations on these characters. It's like I've done a lot of research, but it cannot replace the experience of playing the game. I know there's things that I'm missing because I'm getting things out of order, out of context, whatever. So like maybe these things that I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Like maybe it made more sense in the game or something. So like if you heard something that we said that you were like, well, actually adjusts glasses, like feel free to message us.
I am all for a respectful actually. Like I'm okay with that. If there's something weird that we said or something that didn't fit or something that if we had more context would make something way more acceptable, let us know. Let us know in the Spotify comments, on Discord messages. Hell, hit us up on Twitter, anywhere. But don't be a dick about it. I've had enough of those this week, and I don't want more.
Yeah, you can have enough dick. That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay. If you like what you are hearing, please be sure to leave a review on iTunes or on Spotify and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can now find me on the Cyberpunk Lorecast with my co-host Toasty, where we explore the foundations of the past, the state of Night City today, and the news of the future for all things cyberpunk. Check out Scyther Audio's newest fan-made productions, The Avengers, the audio drama, where you can find me and several of our podcasting friends. And you can reach out to me on our Two Girls, One Ship channel on the Robots Radio Discord. Come give us a follow on all the social medias and on patreon.com and search for Two Girls, One Ship. Our theme music was composed by the ever-talented Pipeman Studios, and our artwork was designed by the esteemed Let's Not. Links are in the description.
I am on the Robots Radio Discord as well, and on our own Two Girls, One Ship Discord server where we nerd out on all our favorite CGI significant others. Be sure to check out our live streams on Twitch on Fridays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Our podcast episodes release on Mondays because you need at least one good thing on a Monday.
So thanks for listening, and remember,
beauty is in the eye of the controller.
woo!
Whoop, whoop.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be a short episode.
Hell yeah. Gosh, I don't know what is going on with my audio, but it's so quiet. I'm going to have to... Why did it record like that? What is going on? Recording level nice. 16%. RIP.
Yeah, mine's at 8%. So
what the hell?
I think it's because we expect the recording level to be really high. We want to see them nice and big, but in reality, they don't have to
nice
be.
and big.
Mm-hmm. Real thick and juicy. But they don't have to be. Like when I listen back to it, it's gonna sound right, even though it's small. Because big isn't always better.
It's how you use it.
Yep. It's not the motion in the ocean or the size of the boat. All that really matters is whether or not the captain can keep it in deck long enough for everyone to get off.
Oh, so it's not the motion in the ocean or the size of the boat. It is the simple fact of we all float. Down here, said Pennywise. Oh, okay. My cat just scratched me jumping away.
Oh, Mary Bear. Naughty Mary. Oh, damn.
I know it's his back claws. I never trim those, and I was trying to help him down, and he just jumped off my hand.
Oh, okay.
This little chunkiness. Yeah, he never scratches me on purpose. It's always an accident because he's about as clumsy as I am. Graceful cat wear.
Oh, what? Oh. So yeah, okay. So what I meant by I've had enough dick this week.
Wait, are we still streaming?
We are still streaming.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Are you good with that?
Yeah. Because it's I woke up to one of the shittiest comments that I've ever fucking gotten on Spotify.
Do tell.
All women are whores.
Who said that?
Some douchebag.
Unknown user, right?
Douchebag on Cyberpunk. Yeah. I did not publish his comment because fuck off.
Well, also, he probably typed it from his little burner phone in his mom's basement, waking up single and alone next to his crusty ass sperm-covered sock. So have fun being alone forever, disgusting smegma bitch.
Yep. This episode proves that all women are whores and Toasty is a cuck.
Yeah, if all women were whores, why don't you have a woman? Little 5'6" bald nothing bitch. Okay? Bye. I don't know. The time has passed for when I let little men tell me how to feel.
Ugh, thank you. I needed that. It was just like the fact that he left it at nighttime, or I'm sorry. So Spotify
Coward.
always emails at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning of when, regardless of when the comment itself is posted, it's just like their automatic emails come out at that time. So I do what every person does. I wake up and I check my phone for all the new notifications. Oh, hey, 2 Spotify comments have come through. Yay. Check them. And that's the first fucking thing that I read when I woke up in the morning. This episode proves that women are whores. And then I fixated for far too fucking long on it. So I've had a really shitty fucking week.
I'm sorry. Okay. My thing is, he typed that with his phone propped up on his man boobs, heavy breathing through his double chin. Don't let his words affect you at all, because it would hurt me for a second. Not a generic thing like that. If someone said something specifically to me. Sorry, I think I just got blood on my chair from my scratch. Whatever. Anyway, if there's one thing I do know how to do being a woman, it's get blood stains out of fabric. So
Right?
watch yourself, unknown douche canoe. I know how to clean a crime scene.
With all the true crime and murder shows
Yeah.
and docu-series that I've watched, honey, I can help you hide a body.
I'm sensitive. I know if I have not yet seen a hate comment directed towards me, which hopefully will always be true. But if it's not, I'm sure it'll make me sad. But then I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm awesome. And they suck. Any person who would take time out of their precious life to type something like that to a stranger on the internet is such a low life form. I cannot even begin to imagine how sad and pathetic they are. So don't worry about it. You are not a whore, and neither am I. He wishes, though. He freaking wishes we were.
I can
Guess
be
who's thinking more
ho-ish,
about me? That
right?
bitch.
Yeah.
You know? That's some dumb shit. I love it. It's like every single time. Fat, ugly whore. Find a new insult. I've heard that before, bitch. You know? Ugh. I'm just mad that you got upset. That makes me want to fight someone.
See, and I'm
not a fighter, though. So
I know you're not a fighter, but I needed your fighting. I needed you to fight for me because I was like, in this moment, I was vulnerable. And because normally I don't give a fuck. Whatever. I'm a woman who exists on the internet. I'm fully aware. But I was just like, it's 6:30 in the morning. I don't need to be called a whore right now. Fuck off.
Wow. So lame.
Yeah.
But you have a lovely husband and a lovely life and lovely friends and probably so many awesome, satisfying things. And he's too busy thinking about how all women are whores. And yet he's still alone and single. Bye. So weird.
Don't forget to send me your audio.
Oh, yeah.
And I booked us a hotel room.
Oh.
For super secret event that we can't talk about yet.
That is later. A couple months from now. Can I tell you that? Okay. Okay.
But it's on the other side of the lake. So it's like,
Oh.
because by the time that I looked, all of the normal hotels, even at my discount, would have been like $200 a night.
Ah, it
So
wasn't so bad though. It's not great, but it's not so bad.
if you want to stay at a $200 place, we totally can, but I got us one for $67 across the lake.
No, I want to save money.
Okay. I was like, I can do it. It's not a problem. I just got to know.
Do you think it would actually be cheaper to do that versus Ubering though?
Ooh, valid.
That's my only thing because last Saturday's Uber trip for me was $100 round trip. So I don't know how expensive it'll be there for that distance, but I think it's a similar distance. And that was just one round trip.
Okay. Okay. All right. We will take this offline and talk about it again soon. I can always double reserve and then cancel when we decide later.
I think that's probably smart.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I think we're done. I'm going to stop streaming now. Goodbye, chat.
Bye-bye.